Matisse Tell signs permanently and Son's exit is gaining traction. All this and more in your daily Tottenham news headlines. Here are your daily Tottenham news headlines. Let's get into it. News from Turkish journalist Yagiz Sebunkoglu. Jose Mourinho met with Son Heung-Min, who is open to joining Fenerbahce. A transfer fee of €30 million is requested due to agreements in the Far East. Talks could progress if these issues are resolved. Manor Solomon wants to try and impress Thomas Frank in pre-season, although Tottenham are expected to still look at the market for the player after his value rose following an impressive loan spell at Leeds. Football.London report that Thomas Frank was more than happy to give the green light to the deal for Matisse Tell. Spurs signed Tell on a permanent $30 million deal from Bayern Munich. French forward Matisse Tell scored 3 goals in 20 games on loan for Tottenham last season. Spurs stated that Matisse joined the club from the Bundesliga side in February on loan until the end of the season, with an option to make the move permanent. We can confirm we have agreed a deal with Bayern that will see the France under-21 international sign a contract that will run until 2031, when his current loan deal ends on 30th of June. Football.London are also reporting that Justin Cochran will return to Tottenham as Thomas Frank's right-hand man, armed with plenty of knowledge of the squad the Dane will inherit. Cochran is one of the most highly regarded coaches in the game right now, and his move to Spurs was a blow to Brentford, who had been eyeing him up as a potential successor to Frank. The 43-year-old is also part of Thomas Tuchel's England setup and is expected to remain so on a part-time basis while at Tottenham. The former Manchester United development coach spent almost a decade at Spurs Academy as a coach before becoming England under-15's head coach and completing his UEFA Pro licence. Cochran analysed Tottenham during their Europa League run and was actually featured in the matchday programme for the final in Bilbao. The analysis focused on Tottenham's use of inverted fullbacks Pedro Porro and Jed Spence in their round of 16 win over AZ Alkmaar. These fullbacks played narrow to create central overloads and open space wide for one-on-ones. Their role required technical skill, the ability to operate in tight spaces like midfielders, and strong recovery runs. Spurs fullbacks executed this well with timely forward runs into half spaces. The system also impacted the build-up. Centre-backs had fewer easy passes wide, and midfielders like Maddison and Bergvall often dropped deeper to receive and progress the ball. And if you weren't aware, the Premier League fixtures for the 2025-26 season will be announced this Wednesday, 18th of June at 9 a.m. Well, here's my thoughts on all those stories today. Firstly, the news from Turkey about Son meeting with Jose Mourinho and possible transfer to Fenerbahce. We're all aware that Mourinho got on really well with Son. So this wouldn't surprise me if this happened. It seems to me, reading between the lines, there are some obviously issues with commitments in the Far East, agreements that have taken place that need sorting out. But I think if these are resolved, then this is a possibility. Son could move to Turkey and play under Jose Mourinho again. I've said before, my feelings on Son are a bit split. Obviously, we know he's in the twilight of his career. He can't do the things that he used to be able to do. So if we can get a decent fee for Son and Son wants to go, for me, at this point, he probably goes with my blessing. And hopefully he'll do well in Turkey, but it's probably the right time for Son to move on. But again, if he stays, I'm quite happy if he stays as well. He's earned that right, in my opinion. Manaf Solomon, as we've heard, he could be kept around by Thomas Frank, just to have a look at him in pre-season. It's probably sensible, actually. I don't think Manaf Solomon's the answer, but let's have a look at him in pre-season and see what he's all about, see if he's improved. Certainly had a really good loan spell at Leeds, so that will be interesting to see if he's going to break into that first team. Football.London reporting about Thomas Frank was more than happy to sanction the Matisse Tell deal. I think this move was going to go ahead regardless. I think Matisse Tell is probably more of a club signing. I think that was always on the cards. Again, I'm still not sure about Tell. I think the jury's still out for me on Tell. Young player, but did I see enough in that loan spell since January? I saw bits and pieces, if I'm honest. I still don't think he didn't set the world alight, let's put it that way. But as I say, he's a young player. We all know that. 30 million euros, also 30 million pounds, actually. I mean, do you think that's too much? Get in the comments, let me know. I was thinking nearer 25. I thought it might be worth taking a punt on him, but that's taken funds out of the transfer kitty for other players. So yeah, get down in the comments, let me know. I'm not sure about that. I'm still not 100% convinced on Tell myself, but as I say, he's a young player. But let me know in the comments what you think. And this piece by Football.London I found really interesting, and I'm quite excited about this coach that Thomas Frank's bringing with him. Justin Cochran obviously knows Spurs of old. Seems to be a very highly regarded coach. Be very interested to see how he goes about training the players and the different drills that they use. Sometimes good, change is good as a rest and all that. For the players to hear different voices, different drills. I know from playing myself, you get bored of doing the same stuff. So hopefully they can help ingratiate themselves with the Spurs players by bringing in different thoughts, different drills, different things to do. It's probably going to be totally different under Frank and Cochran. So let's see how that goes. But I'm quite impressed. He's obviously a student of the game, and as I say, very, very highly regarded. So that will be an interesting one. Talking about especially the piece he wrote about Pedro Porro and Jed Spence and the inverted fullbacks that Postecoglou used. I mean, we didn't use it that much towards the end of the season. Changed the way we played definitely to get over the line, but yeah, that will definitely be interesting to see how they get on as coaches at Tottenham. And finally, this was just a reminder, the Premier League fixtures are announced this Wednesday, 18th of June at 9 a.m. Who do you want in the first game? Who do you want on Boxing Day? Who do you want the last game of the season? That's the three I first look at, but before them, North London Derby. Want to see those dates. They're usually, last year I think it was September, the Arsenal game, the first one. But they're usually sort of midway through each half of the season, aren't they? So yeah, but get down in the comments. Let me know which games you always look for and what games you absolutely dread. For me, obviously, Chelsea away, Liverpool away. But let's hope we can change our fortunes next season on those two games. That's all from me today. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think of the stories today. And come on, you Spurs.